6, which changes him to red. Then set color 4, which changes him blue. And then to tell 2 to carry 6, which is the Pac-Man. Before it carries 4, which is the thing that makes him look like he's gobbling. And then he's set colors 10, which changes into the yellow.
Jack is a virtuoso of improvisation at the computer. He creates his programs on the fly without planning moves in advance. On the other hand, this little girl, Betsy, has a classic programming style, beautifully structured. It could have been written by the textbook.
This is my program, Flower. It makes the flower out of, okay, flower is the main procedure, but it has like, let's see, 5 sub-procedures which make up the main procedure, and here it goes.
Oh, what's that?
I think this is the flower being made. Something was supposed to happen.
What?
It was supposed to make grass. See, I forgot to tell the pen to go back down when I told it to pin up. So I'll just go back with the program and fix it. There we go.
The structure of the programming has helped her isolate her mistake easily in one mind-sized bite. There's no stress, no sense of failure.
It's formed by making petals out of one program that makes one petal. Then I put it in another program to make lots of petals, which that program that makes a lot of the petals goes into the program, and there's a stem and sky. And that's about what it's doing.
Okay, now.
Texan children live in a computer-rich environment. Not only do they have ready access to computers at school, they have them at home as well. They even use the journey to and from school to pass ideas for new programs around. Each child operates the computer in their own way, to suit their own personalities, in their own style of thinking and learning. But even here, Betsy's carefully structured approach receives more approval than Jack's trial and error tactics. Schools and teachers may speak the rhetoric of child-centered learning, but the reality is often more controlled, more structured. Open-ended discovery learning has its critics. It is in Edinburgh that one of the most thorough, thoughtful criticisms of Papert's approach has been developed. 10 years' research has gone into implementing Logo and the Turtle for use in ordinary classrooms, for schools with an existing curriculum, exam system, and timetable. The principles which drive the Scots Turtle are formulated from views about children's learning which are fundamentally opposed to those of Papert, Piaget, and the trial and error approach. Professor Jim Howe.
If someone is a novice in an area, then you have to organize the knowledge in that area. Otherwise, the child will just become swamped, that you have to actually point out what the best directions are, to move at any time. We actually develop structured materials for the particular area in which we're interested. So if we're trying to teach fundamental concepts in geometry, for example, then we would produce worksheets which would actually provide the child with example programs which he could run and which he could experiment with.
In many UK schools, Logo is being modified to fit a more structured, less exploratory approach. But does that take the heart out of it? Beryl Maxwell.
I think that children given the opportunity to actually choose the direction in which they will go is very exciting. So much in the educational world is teacher-directed. We structure their learning because we think that they need to cover certain aspects before they can take the next step. I agree that there is a place for structuring learning, but I think that young children should be given the experience of actually exploring and discovering things for themselves.
Most of us remember school sitting in rows, bored and discontent, while the learning we've done outside has been fun, even when it's hard work. There's a controversy at the heart of education. Will the computer be used as a tool to reinforce traditional learning, or does it, as Papert asserts, offer us an opportunity to make radical changes?
I don't want to come across as a computer utopian now. I think this is a very, very powerful instrument that can change the way people think, the way people develop very profoundly. I think it could go for good or for bad. And in fact, I think that all the forces are such that the path of least resistance is to produce scarily, very scary effects on the way children will develop.
There's something obsessional about children and adults' involvement in video games. There's a force here which can take you outside normal patterns of development. Or as Papert believes, it can be harnessed to make learning experiences more personal, more powerful. The plain fact is that computers cannot stand in isolation from a world outside where commercial interest is devoted to enticing young and old. Very soon, there will be as many computers in people's homes as there are calculators. And this introduces a new factor. As computers go into homes, parents will demand a new deal for their children's education. And teachers will press for the opportunity to give children hands-on experience of a new technology, which is fast becoming a common tool. Here in Luton, one teacher has, with full approval of the authorities, taken a group of children home with her at lunchtimes. There's no computer in school, but here, in her home, they can get familiar with programming one themselves.
Very beginning of doing the little shape at the beginning, then building it up to one of these, and then building it up to 6 of them, and then actually printing them out on the large sheet. And I'll show you in a minute how you can do that with Catherine's shape that she's done today.
Home computers could well be the deciding factor in revolutionizing our approach to learning and our system of education.
I tend more and more to avoid that word education. It makes one think of doing something to the child, educating the child. The total learning environment in which the child grows up includes school, of course, includes those deliberate so-called educational acts that society does on the child. But the most important parts are in relationship, in play, in social forms, in art, in sensibility to aesthetics. All this is part of the developing individual, and the computer enters into all of that.
With 2, and I'll start with 1. That's very good. Okay, off you go.
Juggling is a complex skill, but made up of simple
Lovely.
acts.
Terrific. Great. Okay.
Throw a ball, catch it.
Okay. Excellent. See the
It's
double
Papert's
swing
favorite metaphor for thinking about programming.
on your legs again. You can do all the same.
For him, programming in the language of logo gives children a metaphor to think about combining the simple to make the complex. It helps them to learn to juggle. It helps them perceive and enjoy the movements of an expert juggler. And when you've used mathematical principles as a key to enjoyable physical activities, your feeling for mathematics is likely to be warmer, more personal, and more engaged. Even at an early stage, Mandy and Michelle have used the thinking process they've learnt through programming to work out the choreography of their dance.